What point was that transition where you went from being performer to business person and selling products and coaching and that kind of stuff?
I was 21 years old, and I was the marketing promotions director of a radio station up in LA. And so my job was to drive around in the radio station van, find bumper stickers for the radio station, pull the people over, and give them $100. The job I had after that was I was 21 years old, and I was managing the number one nightclub down in San Diego, California. And my job was to go up and down the line and find the prettiest girls in line and pull them out of line, take them into the club, give them free drinks and free food all night long to make sure that we had the best looking girls in the city and the club. And I just was bored. So I went through 8 jobs, 8 apartments in 2 years. And I remember distinctly, I was sitting at a bar in Los Angeles with a buddy of mine who was a rock and roller. And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm not going to do magic," because at the time Copperfield was massively dominant. I said, "I don't want to be Pepsi to somebody else's Coke. So I'm going to find something that I can be the best in the world at." And I had gotten hypnotized when I was 16 years old, and it blew my mind, transformed my whole life. And I said, I think I'm going to pursue this. And so I pursued being a hypnotist. And because my background was performing, I started off doing shows. And one of my first bookings was for a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise meeting. So all these franchise owners were there, and I hypnotized all of them to be chickens, and I hypnotized one of them to be Colonel Sanders, and I give them a big blow-up axe to chase the chickens around the stage. And one of the franchisees came up to me after the show that I'd been paid $2,500 to do. And he said, he laughingly says, "Hey, can you teach me how to hypnotize my employees to show up on time?" And I said, "No, but I can hypnotize you to communicate in a way that they will." And he said, "Really? What would you charge me?" Well, I'd never done it. I had no idea what to do. So I said, $25,000. Just threw a number out there. And he said, "Okay, can I bring 9 of my friends? Can I get 9 other franchisors to the meeting and we can split the cost?" And I said, "Yeah." So that was my first seminar. So it didn't take me long to figure out, let's see, $2,500 for a show, $25,000 for education. I'm going with the education. And so early on, I made the leap from performing, which I love, by the way, and I still love. I made the leap from performing to education because people will spend X for entertainment. They'll spend X times 10 or 12 or 20 for their business. And I realized if it's a business decision, it's a lot easier for them to write a check.
So this is when you were 21 or your, early 20s?
You know, I was 23.
Because you started hypnotizing around age 17, right?
I hypnotized my first subject when I was 17, and it was a girl that I had grown up with in Michigan. She came out to California to visit me, and she was my very first subject. She was a girl that was my friend. I was in the friend zone, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the friend
And you
zone.
wanted to date her?
Oh, God. Dating is a kind of a lucid word.
Okay.
Yes, I did want to date her. And then I hypnotized her, and after I hypnotized her, she wouldn't leave me alone.